I guess we'll just jump right into it.
Yeah, sure.
What did you think about this week's episode?
I thought it was better than last week's.
I did too.
Yeah, I guess this episode, how did this one start off?
Oh, don't ask me that. I can't. I watched it when I was not feeling too good, so some of it I'm a little bit blurry on, so I can't exactly say what it started off on.
But yeah, I think this episode did a better job. I mean, yes, it was still probably a little too short for me, but
also spoilers.
Yes, also spoilers. But this one started off where Nick kind of followed the president to the hospital.
Yes. Yes.
And that scene was okay. I mean, I get the fact why Nick feels like he had to post up at the hospital.
Yeah.
But when Gravik comes in, when Rhodey comes in, I guess I'm just tired of like Rhodey having the upper hand all the time. You know, like he is just in every conversation. It feels like he's getting dogged by Rhodey. Yeah, and I'm getting a little tired of it. But you know, it's gonna probably lead up to the end where he gets the best of Rhodey. So
I would agree. Maybe.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know where it's going with him because he seems conflicted about Gravik too. A little bit.
But he's enacting all of his plans.
He is.
Yeah. And I guess that like conflict with Gravik, that was a big part of this episode where they got back from the big mission they pulled off, and one of his guys just immediately was like, hey, you're screwing up, man. Like we're not super happy right now. And just he immediately kills him.
Yeah.
Just like way out of left field, I thought, for Gravik, because this whole series for me, it felt like he had been like truly a leader of the Skrulls.
Yes.
Like I didn't like he let that lady walk in the council scene, and when she had directly opposed him, and now it's just like he's willing to kill anyone who gets in his way. And I'm a little confused at where that desperation is coming from.
Okay, so I guess I'm glad that I'm not the only one, because when I was watching the episode, I was thinking, why is everybody necessarily turning so quickly on him? Like, I understand.
Well, I actually liked how the people turned on him because he killed one of their guys. But
sure. But like so quickly, like it seems like things have now turned where like his own people are against him.
Sure.
And I agree, like he probably I don't
could have used better build-up.
Know why he's so desperate, for lack of a better word, I guess. I don't know if I'd call him desperate, but
just way too aggressive. I mean, I don't know why.
Maybe it's because of like Gaia and like Priscilla not following the orders, but
and
it never came across to me like that was something that was like he was very getting frustrated about. He was more like, it had to be done. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. Sure.
So that it does feel weird. I did like when they all ganged up on him. That was a pretty cool fight.
That was probably the best fight of the entire show for me.
Yeah, because I want to say later on in the episode when Priscilla and Gaia are like defending each other.
It's okay. Yeah.
I'm sure
it was graphic to be graphic, I feel. You know?
Yeah, it was. That's another thing. There's so many knife and gunshot scenes where like there's blood.
Yeah.
And I'm like, should this be rated R? Like this is
I'm surprised at how much blood there is, for sure.
There's a lot of blood.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot. Which is not a bad thing. They
probably pushed the envelope.
I'm just curious.
With that
like
PG-13
this
rating.
whole series, like I'm down with it. It's just like I'm really surprised. Like really surprised.
Gunshots to the head.
I don't feel like it is that serious. That's my main complaint with the show.
True.
Is that it doesn't feel that serious.
Yeah.
Like as much as like
sure. Go on.
No, I want to.
Well, I mean, it wasn't going off totally of that, but it was going off of the scene of Priscilla and Gaia.
Yeah.
So, how did you feel about the whole funeral and everything? Like, I don't know. It felt a little dragged on for me, and a little like the culture seemed a little out of left field for me too. Where they're like
saying the prayer.
It just like basically doing like a Game of Thrones like. Fire to cremate them, pyre, right, and then the prayers, and I was like, Oh, okay. I mean, it's interesting. I think I kind of like it, but like we haven't really gotten any like scroll culture stuff before.
Well, but this is it.
Sure,
then,
sure.
You know.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I got you.
You just maybe are like, it's okay. I don't.
I guess I was just a little surprised.
Okay.
For all that to happen, but you know that's fine. It doesn't necessarily bother me. It's just like we've had 4 other episodes and a Captain Marvel movie where we didn't get really any scroll culture implemented to us.
Yeah,
so, I don't know.
I can see that.
Yeah,
it didn't feel weird to me.
Sure. Yeah.
So, I guess what I would also like to say about this show is, so at the end we get this superhero suit up bit, right, where Nick goes to his hideout.
He's got cemetery,
multiple cemeteries, which in theory that's cool. Yeah. That's a very cool idea.
Yeah.
The thing is that it feels like a superhero thing just because it's a superhero show or it's like a comic book character, and like
gotta put on the eye patch again.
Yeah, exactly. Like is it cool? Yeah, it feels like, oh cool, he's got the eye patch.
It feels like it's what's supposed to happen, though, right? Like they're just following a formula.
But it's like it really doesn't serve any purpose. Right. You know what I mean? Like I get that like they're gonna say like, oh, it symbolizes something. I never once really felt like that.
Here's the thing.
But like with most costumes or with most suits, like there's a functionality to why they have it on.
Right.
There's no need. He could just go get, I mean, I'm sure fine. He wants to get stuff from the safe house. It's just like, oh, I need to get my new leather jacket on. I got to put my new eye patch on. I just like it. You just could not, but whatever. It's like these things that are implemented throughout that, like the superhero isms and I don't know. It's fine. It's just, you don't really need it.
But like, you had a problem with this earlier in the show. And I think, it comes back to here for me is that like, why did we follow Nick for 5 episodes without a fucking eye patch when it was never like explained to us, how he was really going through it, like what he was really struggling with. Yeah. Like it never got to his emotions in the show.
It still hasn't.
Right. And I'm just like, except there's no reason for him to put back on this eye patch or for him to have ever taken it off. At least it feels like to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a little disappointing in that sense. I also like, my friend Manny and I were pretty disappointed in the fact, like his speech before putting all that on was like, this is personal. I can't call on anybody, like I got to take care of this myself. And
exactly.
Like, he didn't give a good reason. He was just like, I don't know. He just like, I can't rely on the superheroes all the time. That was pretty much his reason. And
which is kind of fine, but it's kind of like, bullshit because you didn't create the Avengers in the first place. Right. For instances like this.
Yeah, that's it. Like exactly. It feels like it's breaking character for me, that he's wanting to do this all himself when he's always relied on others.
But yes, it's personal because he caused the whole thing to begin with.
Yeah.
Which is I have so many questions as to who thought it was a good idea to collect every single DNA.
Why would you not just
every
like
single superhero?
Send in power washers in there and just like power wash all the blood out of the ground.
But
I don't know.
He purposefully had scrolls collected
I feel you.
For him.
Yeah. I don't know why Nick felt like that was necessary.
Probably so he could make more, or there's always going to be somebody who can be that, or maybe one of two things. A, mutants? Question mark. Hyperion? Question mark.
Okay.
But maybe this thing, Harvest, sticks around after Secret Invasion. If it goes away, if it gets destroyed in the next episode, I will be like, well, that was dumb. Why did you? And if they don't explain why he created it,
that's
going to
be so bad.
That is stupid.
Here's the thing, though, is
because it is stupid right now. Because I'm like, oh, that's, and it's also, I think it's in the shape of a bullet. So I swear to God,
Kind
if
of.
somebody gets shot with that.
Kind of looks like more like an arrowhead, maybe.
Okay,
Yeah. But like the thing for me with that whole, like, yeah, like it doesn't really make sense yet until we maybe get a reveal. But like, I think maybe this also confirms when, like, at least we have a cutoff date for when Rhodey became a Skrull. Because for me, and I think I saw somebody else say this too, but like, if they got, samples of everybody who fought on that battlefield, then they would know that Rhodey was a Skrull then if he was. Like there would be purple blood on the battlefield. So to me, that confirms that he became a Skrull after Endgame. Like I feel like that's confirmation.
I hope they are a little bit more.
I agree. I want there to be a better answer than that, but I think that is an answer.
It's a loose one.
Yeah.
That's a lot of filling in the blanks, though.
I'm just saying, like he would have known, right? If like they came back and was, or maybe the Skrulls.
But there's so much blood. How would you know?
Well, you can test whose blood, right? I mean, he got samples of all the, of everything, right?
And then they're like, oh, there was no Rhodey DNA. So who was Rhodey? Or maybe Rhodey didn't bleed at all because he's in a War Machine outfit.
Maybe, but
well, why would they?
They said everyone
why would they
bled.
need his DNA? He's not super powered.
Sure, but they would have like accidentally collected it.
See, no, I don't know. This is
right. I mean, they would have just collected every blood sample they could have found.
Oh, there was a Skrull here. I don't know. Maybe.
Or you could, or if you don't want to say that's a good theory, then like you could just be like, the Skrulls hid it from Nick and maybe, was like, sure, right, yeah,
okay, fair enough.
So maybe it's not a definitive answer, but I'd like to
they
think
better in the next one. I would really like them in the next one.
I'd like to think that he's been a Skrull after Endgame.
Yeah, I do like the idea of like Gravik saying we're going to get the U.S. to bomb Skrullos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's another super radical plan.
Super radical.
Yeah.
But I do like that idea that he's and it makes sense like what he's kind of doing but it's almost too destructive.
But like somebody pointed out to me too that like the World War III plot, that alone doesn't really make much sense for the Skrulls because it's not like,
well, because they'll blow each other up.
Well, yeah, but the Skrulls live on Earth. Where are they gonna go?
Well, they're okay with the radiation. That's why they're in that.
No, but like the initial, like they could, a lot of Skrulls could die from the initial just bombings, like not just the radiation.
Yeah.
Right.
I would also say if you bomb everything, what is there to eat?
Yeah, I mean,
unless you have like food from Skrullos that can survive in the radiation.
Yeah, maybe.
Questions. There's so many questions.
So many questions. So yeah, to me, like bombing your own capital city to start World War III to maybe kill a lot of your civilization is like, it's not a great plan. But I don't know.
This whole show is just,
it's just not the most well thought out. But here's the thing: it's
still better.
It's better than some other Disney Plus shows, but
sure. It's still like, I think if you go back to like the first 3 phases, it feels more like a Thor: The Dark World.
I agree.
Ish sort of not, and I don't think that Thor: The Dark World is like horrible by any means.
It's pretty bad, but I wouldn't say this is pretty bad. But I get what you're saying. It's like it's a quality drop, right?
It's like. Okay, is this like, it's not reaching like highs. I'm not like, oh my God, I can't wait for the next episode.
Right.
I'm like, it's well, I got to do it for the podcast. I mean, I am generally interested.
I'm interested to see what happens,
but like only because I'm so
invested in the MCU.
But the Rhodey scenes are my favorite scenes. Like Don Cheadle does a great job.
He is doing
even
a good
though
job.
Sure. You have the problem with him always ganging up on Nick and getting the upper hand. All the scenes are done very well.
Sure,
and he's always super cool.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
And creepy. So,
we did get 2 callbacks in this episode. To other properties. Maybe you missed
which ones.
So the pilot that Nick has, he was in Black Widow. The one that like gets her the plane at the end.
Right.
Yeah. And then the Widow's Veil that he used, that was from Winter Soldier, which I thought was a great Like, yeah, keep using the old technology, you know?
Yeah,
like,
I wish I would like to know if we're supposed to know if that whose face he was using or if that was
I
just
don't
some
think so.
random person.
I think he just got some random Russian.
Because I'm always nervous that I'm like, oh, is it a cameo that I didn't know about?
Right, yeah.
You know? Is it a callback to like a comic book creator?
Like, I almost didn't recognize the pilot guy. You know, I was like, wait, is that?
I was like, oh, this interaction's interesting. Why are we sticking with this for so long? And now this makes more sense.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, so I think there was some cool like plot building in this episode, but I don't know. I'm not super excited for the finale.
I give it like a 6.5, maybe a 7.
I would agree with you.
Yeah. Out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a 6. Maybe a 6.5. I don't know.
I liked it a little bit better than the last one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But yeah, that's our review, right? For Secret Invasion.
Yeah.